Hi everyone, welcome to the panel How Digital Technology that is part of the We Customer Prof series. Today we're very lucky to have invited our guest from Alibaba and Global Cosmetics to be here virtually to speak with us about the future of beauty. I'm today's moderator, Yaling Jiang from Jin Daily. We are a fashion and beauty trade publication that's focused on China, and I usually write about business of fashion, beauty, and e-commerce, and I'm very honored and excited to speak to these wonderful guests. So I think next I'd like to turn the microphone to our guests, Luca, Vian, and Patrick, for them to introduce themselves. And after this, after our formal session, there will be a 15-minute Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the comment box, and we will come back to it after the session. So Luca, would you like to start?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Yaline, and good morning and good afternoon, everyone connected. This is Luca Curtarelli. I'm a member of the Alibaba.com team, and I'm actually managing the business development team here in Milan for the Italian market. And our objective is basically to support and help the Italian SMEs in the whole process of digitalization and internationalization, thanks to the technology and that Alibaba.com give to the market and share with all the SMEs locally. Thanks, Vian, and of course I'm very happy to be here with all of you.
Vian or Patrick?
Hi. Thanks, Vian. Just a quick introduction. I'm Patrick Leung from Global Cosmetics, the VP and Director of Global Cosmetics. We've been in the beauty business for more than 20 years, doing OEM, ODM, and now currently doing a bit of OBM as well too. So what we literally do is we provide a full service for brands by helping them develop beauty products, market research, help them produce R&D, sourcing, and at the end to end manufacturing. So I would like to actually thank the Lona Fair and Alibaba Group for inviting me as one of their guests today. Back to you.
And last but not least, Vian. So I think Vian might be experiencing some technical difficulties while we wait for her to reconnect. We might be able to just move on to the formal discussion. I think first I'd like to begin by saying that as a reporter in the industry, there's no better point and timing than now to talk with our guests from all over the world, and including you, our audience, for us to have a discussion to look forward, because China has recovered very fast from COVID-19, and Alibaba, both Alibaba and Global Cosmetics have great insights from this market, as well as great leverage from the. So I think I recovered. It's a great way for the rest of the world to get on with some insights and also with marketing experiences from this angle. I think. Okay, Vian, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, great. Yeah. So we are just coming to the point where we maybe you can introduce yourself a bit to our audience.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Morning. I'm Vian Wang from Alibaba.com cross-border supply chain team, and I'm majorly responsible for the market overseas, such as Vietnam, Malaysia, and Singapore, Thailand, etc. Very pleasure to meet you guys.
Okay, wonderful, Vian. We are just about to ask the first question to our guest. Patrick, I think we'll start with you. Now, 2020, Patrick is based in Hong Kong, and 2020 has been an unprecedented year for every industry, including cosmetics. And being in Hong Kong, I don't know what your thoughts are at this moment. I think Hong Kong is still going through some difficulties with COVID,
yes.
And you might have, I don't know, have experienced both outbreaks from mainland China when it was hit first in January, and now in Hong Kong, you guys are still going through this whole management issue with the situation. I wonder when we want to look at the cosmetics industry, how has the pandemic impacted global cosmetics business? I mean, your company's business, and what are some of the key learnings that you can share with our audience?
No problem. Thanks, Ling. I think before I answer the question, I just want to quickly share some key data from our industry that's impacted by COVID. So, I mean, like we hear a lot of companies that were affected by the pandemic, such as Shiseido, very big Japanese company. Their sales dropped 15.8% recorded in the first half of this year, and their net profit plummeting close to 96%. And also Amur Pacific, a Korean company, their net sales dropped 20% and profit plummeted at least 67% recorded up to now. But I mean, these are companies heavily linked to the beauty product space, but there are also opportunities that pandemic has created as well too. So companies that were that has come in with very strong figures like Johnson & Johnson, their sales has increased 54% compared to last year. Contributed their clean and hygiene brands like Listerine and Vino. So for global cosmetics, I mean, we've been witnessing this pandemic as we're a full service OEM, ODM company that covers almost every beauty and personal care categories. This year, we've experienced the forefront of all effects, but as well as the opportunities from this pandemic. So what are the effects? Similar to these influential beauty brands I've mentioned just now, we have experienced a drastic drop in new project development briefs, as well as a sudden cut of original POs quantities by our buyers and retailers that we work with. For us, the majority of sales in the past covering color cosmetics and gifting went down by almost half compared to last year, so it was really drastic. But I mean, opportunities as well in the pandemic, we're however very, very lucky. The pandemic has devastated many Chinese OEM companies, resulting some of our competitors closing the factories for 1 to 2 months during April and May because their POs got canceled and they covered the cost of operating. So here are some of the key learnings I have to reflect now. I mean, don't mind me going into storytelling mode, and if I do overrun it in time, you can cut me off. The key learnings, how we really survived and strive during this pandemic, I would like to share. First of all, our team anticipated, we collaborated, and we responded early before the pandemic. Like how it really started is because we were very close to where it really started. Wuhan sitting lockdown during Chinese New Year. We have a lot of key managers that lives in Wuhan during Chinese New Year's that couldn't make it back to our factory. This crisis, and it definitely affects a lot of operations. But experienced something similar in 2002 during SARS, and as a team, we anticipated and we collaborated after Chinese New Year through. I couldn't go up to China to even have a meeting. We did an online meeting, and pivoted from building a hand sanitizer category for our company. Second thing that really, our key learning that we reflected this year was, we fully engaged into a digital B2B platform using Ali to bring in new demands for essential products. I mean, just to give the backbone story, we used Alibaba before, but it wasn't really giving us what we need first. It's because we didn't really understand, the behavior on this platform. But what really surprised me this year is when we start trying to distribute these essential products, and I was realizing it my way of working, which is a network of people around me, which is in the trading business. So putting all my eggs in one basket, it didn't really work out. I was expecting some outcome of people buying from us. It didn't work. And once I did put on, Alibaba has been super helpful. They engaged us. They provided the resources we need by putting us in the PPE zone during that time, and provided us all the the traffic needed in order to to sell these essential goods. So in conclusion, I want to consolidate our key learnings for this year. We took a do first, analyze and respond later approach. What we mean by that is, number one, we transform our perfume factory into a sanitizer production factory. We're actually very lucky compared to other OEM ODMs that don't have facility, because it's an investment we made in the past. Because in order to produce perfumes, you need anti-inflammatory facility, you need an alcohol treatment plant, and as well, Chinese regulation is really strict due to potential hazardous explosions around the workshop. The parameter, there couldn't be any landmarks around it for safety reasons. Second of all is we manufacture sanitizers before getting the CFDA approval. This was a really risky move, but we relied on suppliers using their credentials. At the end, we were quite fortunate that the Chinese government needed these essential products, and they gave us when we started and gave us the green light with a CFDA approval in early March, which usually, if it wasn't pandemic, would take at least 6 months to get. So we were very lucky that happened. And finally, a huge management move we really made was pre-purchasing a lot of the component inventory. We purchased the component inventory before we even got the POs. So this is a very rare for most ODM factories, because what if we can't sell the products? But hit April or May, we realized that when the pandemic hit Europe and it has become the epicenter in North America, these buyers really need these products out quick. They were expecting, okay, you either give us this products out in 7 days, or we'll cut the orders from you. So preparing in advance has really given us this opportunity to really survive and thrive, and resulting into our overall sales this year. 60% aggregate sales this year were in the hygiene and clean product section, and our year-to-year sales has grew compared to last year, 37%. Operating profit until now, October 2020, 400% growth. So I'm very, very thankful, very thankful that everything happened and through to 2020.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, thanks for sharing that successful case study from the perspective of OEM, ODM. I think that's really an excellent example of how business can be agile through a time of uncertainty. And I think a lot of that has also something to do with an agile supply chain. So I want to turn the microphone to Lian, who's the head of Alibaba overseas, and she oversees the supply chain segment of the business. I wonder, Lian, if you can talk about what the role of digital supply chain is in a business, and how could beauty brands and suppliers optimize the global supply chain?
Okay, sure. Firstly, allow me to share a number of Alibaba.com. And according to Alibaba.com statistics, on the first half of 2020, there is an increase in total sales online of 80% corresponding last year, even though during COVID-19 period. And the success is mostly credited with the digital supply chain powered by the trading platform. And maybe you all know why. The platform constantly make large investment on the buyer acquisition and cross-border logistics solutions. Now I will elaborate from the two perspectives. Well, in terms of buyer acquisitions, the application of virtual reality and social media, such as live stream, short video, SNS, is considered as our top priority. Actually, at this time, from October 5th to 18th, united with Cosmoproof, there is online trade show on Alibaba.com presented by the form of live stream and short videos. As you all know, global video traffic percentage is estimated to 70 by the 2022. So it's absolutely the trend. Our media strategy focus on short videos such as TikTok, combined with longer video channels such as YouTube, to increase traffic and conversion for suppliers and brands. So that's what we do to help our suppliers. We also have some trial on 3D area. It is established a 3D showroom channel this year. It's a free service provided by the platform, usually popular in furniture category, but also applicable to beauty category. It helps suppliers to building their own 3D reality showroom online, contributing for an increase in buyers' inquiry online of 30% during COVID-19 period. So that's the major success of to suppliers powered by the trading platforms. From other perspectives, global logistics solution provided by the trading platform of beauty cosmetics industry is also very essential. Digital global supply chain can bring faster supply chain delivery and a more convenient shopping experience for products, merchants, and consumers. The industry's new product standards are digitized, focusing on promoting new ingredients such as pure natural, organic, and no harmful substances. New functions such as multifunctional cleansing device, whitening, removing wrinkles, and anti-aging, and popular new colors, etc. So what others is with Alibaba's logistics solutions, we also provide some logistics solutions to transfer some liquid and powder to help them to do the faster delivery. Well, that's pretty much from my side. During about the role of digital supply chain from the Alibaba trading platform, and how we can help to suppliers and our customers and brands.
Got it. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And next, Luca, I know that you're very experienced with helping local small to medium businesses in Italy to be connected with Alibaba or sell through Alibaba. I wonder if you can share with us some of your insights throughout the process. We know that Alibaba.com has partnered with a lot of Italian SMEs, merchants, and sellers, and by providing them with digital infrastructure and also with market insights and how consumers are transforming their behaviors and needs. And I wonder, what can you share with us from working with small SMEs?
Yes, thank you, Yaling, and you are very right, because in Alibaba we don't consider ourselves as a simple and pure marketplace only, but we really want to act as a partner with our merchants, providing them with all the knowledge and the marketing insights that are relevant for them to understand all the shift of the consumer's behavior in order to adapt also the strategies, both online but also offline time to time. So, and for example, Cosmoprof and Cosmoprof together with Alibaba is a great example of this mindset and this approach, because on one side we are giving the technology and the platform for merchants to meet and interact in a new way, but on the other we are also trying to share with the markets a lot of industry insights and a lot of qualitative contents. So an example of this, and within the scope of this project, was the research that we carried out together with the consultancy Beauty Stream, where we're trying to identify which were the most dominant trend and new products in the industry. especially reflecting what was the change in the lifestyle of consumers in the beauty industry caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. And for example, this includes, for instance, a new desire of consumer to get the same experience that they were getting before out of home in the spa, in the treatment center, but now being safely seated in their own houses. And this was pretty interesting to notice. Also, another topic that was raised and was particularly interesting to point our attention on was the greater interest in the price-quality ratio. So not anymore just price, volumes, or let's say discounts, but it's really about the value that we can transfer to the end consumers and the value that the consumers perceived. And finally, a third interesting topic was about sustainability. And Vian also mentioned this. There is a whole interest around sustainability and environmental impacts on the beauty and cosmetics products. So I invite everyone actually in the call, if you want to download the reports from BeautyStream, is free and is free for everyone. You can take it either on the WeCosmoProf platform or on Alibaba.com platform. And you can get actually a lot of very detailed insights also on single products. We were mentioning jade roller, facial cleansing brush, lots of things that can be of inspiration for all in the industry. But if we want to move to a more, let's say, macro trends in the industry, I think that Ipsos generated a very powerful content that could define 3 macro trends that the players of the industry should be aware of. And the first one is related to the new perception of consumers as citizens. And we go back to the sustainability and environmental impact, since what we notice is that consumers are much more conscious now in their consumption, and they are much more paying attention compared to the past to all the narrative around the CSR. So this is something that companies should pay attention more and more now and in the future. The second macro trend is what we can define as new ideal beauty. So basically what we notice, and we keep noticing in time, is that we are moving away from a stereotype and a standardized concept of beauty, but the consumer are perceiving the beauty products as an enabler of their self-expression and their self-identity. So we are moving a little bit away from the previous concept of standardized beauty. And the third one, and it's something that I feel probably closer to my everyday life also, is about technology and digitalization. And we see how technology is actually helping brands and companies to stay connected with their audience. And we are seeing this also with the usage of powerful tools and devices powered by artificial intelligence, IoT, everything that is helpful, especially in this specific time of the history, to provide a richer experience to consumers on one side, and on the other side also for companies to collect information and data from the audience. So it's really a two-way flow, two ways of communication. Then moving closer to what we are experiencing every day as an Alibaba, my colleague Vian mentioned this before, a very powerful trend, as something that proved in the past to be super effective in Asia and in China, is a live stream. And what we are noticing is that it's becoming a more popular trend also in the West and the Western markets. And a good example of this, again, so sorry if I keep mentioning our own platform, but we have been working on this so much to create this joint trade show with WeCosmoProf. So in these days, we can actually find dozens of entrepreneurs and business people in our platform that are using the live stream tool to connect with their own factories and to showcase their products and their innovation. So it's a really a good way to stay connected and to try also this tool and this powerful tool also in the West. And finally, a last example that I wanted to mention that is still coming from the Alibaba ecosystem is a partnership that we ran in 2019 with the L'Oréal Group, together with Alibaba Group, where we launched a mobile app powered by artificial intelligence again. And the name of this project was called Effaclar SpotScan, and was basically designed to help people that was affected by acne that has a limited access to the dermatologist to provide a first level of support. So this is a very good example on how technology is not just shaping the future of an industry, but it's also interesting to notice how when the industry applies technology can really shape the future of thousands or millions of people in a positive way.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Do you happen to have any case studies on top of your mind of how Alibaba has helped some of these small partners to better deliver their message or deliver the visuals and usages of their products to potential buyers?
Yes, we have many of them. We have a lot of them on the cosmetic industry, but not only on this industry. So our platform is really dedicated to every kind of size of business, but it's particularly useful also for small to micro businesses. So what we see is that, for example, in Italy, we are giving access to a pool of global buyers that would be much more difficult in these circumstances to get access to in a more traditional way. So we have example of micro company, micro OEM that thanks to Alibaba can get to know buyers that are coming both from main markets like US, where we have a large majority of our buyer base, but also getting in touch with buyers that are coming from rising economies. We have seen closing deals from Nepal to sub-Saharan markets. So it's really an interesting new way to get in touch to a buyer communities that now cannot travel, but even in the past was not sometimes efficient from a cost perspective to get in touch with.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And Patrick, I wonder if I can come back to you again. So from the perspective of OEM, ODM, so I think generally digitalization has been a crucial asset for many industries and companies to not just survive, but also like we just described throughout this COVID pandemic, that your company has really thrived during the tough moments. I wonder if you can share some of your personal experience and insights about how technology has been shaping the global branding strategy of your company.
So before I share more about digital technology, I want to actually mention how OEM, ODM business like us work every year. So there's something called a yearly life cycle for many brands and retailers on new product developments that we're trying to run year by year. So brand owners will conduct a yearly buy trip. It usually happens the last quarter of the year to prepare for next year's launch. So events such as Cosmoprof in Hong Kong does a fantastic job building a culture for beauty brand owners to meet suppliers in every year November here. But due to the pandemic, two major sales generating events are affected this year. Number one is the buy trips for buyers to Asia to meet their suppliers. For us, it's for key account management, for growing existing businesses. Number two is trade shows. The primary objective is to find this, and as a sales perspective, this is business development. And when these major sales generating events are close to impossible to do this year, digital technology becomes a mandatory must-have in our company, in our corporate strategy. So for the past few years, we have invested in technology as our core strategy, which really differentiates us from many international OEM, ODM companies out there. More importantly, the core value of our business's digital strategy is how to be seen in the market, especially when we are no longer just competing locally anymore, we're being globally. Say if you search for a cosmetic manufacturer on Google, which is now the highest search keyword in business nature, it's like only appearing on the first page would let me turn off my WhatsApp. Just only appearing in the first page with a chance to open new opportunities where we continuously invest in ensure we stay there. And Alibaba plays a very significant role in our digital strategy of being seen for specific product categories. So invested in staying on the first page for, category hand sanitizing gel, alcohol sprays during this pandemic. So this strategy plays an essential part of a business without a company can survive. So I do want to emphasize a bit more of business investing in Alibaba as one of their digital technology strategy, since I've been brought into this great opportunity speaking to experts from this company in this panel. I'm honored by that. I would like to share my experience with Alibaba even more. I think I started appreciating this platform more significantly when, the world has changed so much this year. As an optimist I am, I do want to say COVID has become the new norm, and we led to our life. And despite getting a vaccine out, I believe how we have adapted to, work now will become the future. And especially when buyers no longer need to physically visit a factory to trust a supplier and purchase from them. This has really changed the game. And Alibaba very significant role building the world trust between buyers and suppliers. And honestly speaking, the Alibaba team does a fantastic job building that trust for buyers, for suppliers like us. They make it very easy for suppliers like us to work with, such as they have stopped the resources of notable third-party auditors to film your facilities, to film your products, and to provide that VR tour functionality in your factory when people don't need to be physically to visit. So all these features they have built for us helps create the user experience to gain the buyer's trust. And a right way of putting it is their business as their own business, and I can go on this for a long time as this is what's happening in the Alibaba in China that we're experiencing. It's quite mind-blowing, I have to say, how well established and insensitizing the Alibaba team Alibaba company has become. Their team so loyal and passionate to work around the clock, make sure your business grows with them. So I'll leave my answer to that. But if you have any questions, I can provide that in a more detailed manner during the Q&A section. So I'm happy to share a bit more later on.
Thank you, Patrick. And yes, we already have some questions lined up for you in a short while. Vian, I want to turn to you next. I know that I think Patrick just shared from his perspective on working with Alibaba and from the perspective of OEM, ODM, but from the consumer's point of view, they've also increasingly seeing a blurry field between cosmetics and personal care and also virtual and real world. I wonder if there's any recent applications of digital technology that you've seen in beauty that have impressed you.
Okay. There were two applications, not from Alibaba, but from the industry that impressed me a lot. One is try before you buy. It's something like 3D. It's like augmented virtual reality technologies. And people are really interested for experience, such as virtual try-on apps, skin diagnostics, and live streaming of influencers. The augmented reality technology is built into smartphones, allowing users to try on makeup in real time using their phone camera. So user point the camera at the face, and the chosen makeup is layered on like a filter. They can search for cosmetics products for brands and apply as a filter in real times. So I think it's very vivid and helps for some consumers like me to do some convenient shopping via apps. The other applications is similar. It's like using artificial intelligence to match top makeup looks from magazines, from the TV, etc. The AI software brings cover beauty looks to our real life. A consumer takes a photo of a makeup look in print and can try that exact look on their face using the makeup app. And its AI look matching features will have them. The app identifies cosmetics used to create the look and allows someone to buy these products via in-app purchasing. So I think the two applications is very interesting and very helpful for some consumers like me to do the easier shopping. Well, that's pretty much from me.
Thank you. Yeah, I think also just as Patrick mentioned just now, the COVID pandemic has really affected buyers going on trips and also trade shows, physical trade shows. So I want to ask Luca about this, and especially centered around the We Cosmoprof and Alibaba. We know that digitalization has impacted the trade show sector, and we are at a moment where physical exhibitions are limited outside of China. So I wonder if you can tell me and our audience, why does an online trade show make a lot of sense at this stage? And is the format of online trade show or a hybrid of online and offline trade shows here to stay?
Yes, thank you, Yalin. Yeah, I agree. I think that the professional trade show industry, also similarly to many other industries, have been hardly impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. And we see now that we had problems from traveling to maintaining social distancing to having some gathering canceled. So we face several problems on this aspect. We are seeing, and we are very happy to see how we are trying to go back to normal, or we are trying to go back to, let's say, the possibility to meet also in person. And we are also extremely happy that our friends in Bologna are going back to their physical hall this week for their first time after the pandemic. But it's likely that we will not see for a long time a situation that is 100% equal to the ones that we had before the COVID pandemic. And we also saw in a research run by GRS Research that the whole sentiment of the industry around this topic is very uncertain. So most of the people, it's really believing that this is a turning point for the whole industry to start thinking in a different way on how to develop their own business. And for example, over 50% of the respondents, and they were all operators of the business or marketers that were used to attend these kind of events, are thinking that the whole industry needs to be much more open since now on to everything that is digital. And the 70% of them is sharing that digital and technology are actually the main factor to impact this business since now on. So in terms of Alibaba, Alibaba.com has been a long time that we have seen advantages of having an online fair, or at least replicating the similar concept of a trade show online. It's since 1999 when our co-founder founded our business that they had this as a main point and main principle behind. So to create the same mutual trust that people can have inside a physical space and interact in a physical way, similarly, but in an online scenario. And the advantages, of course, are pretty obvious. Just to mention a few: an higher reach, a bigger exposure, then a cost efficiency. We were mentioning before the possibility for small to micro business to get in touch with potential buyers from all over the world and from very different markets. This means also that all the time zones can be involved in the same times and during the same events. Or even a very simple, and it's something that we always say when we speak about digital and e-commerce, that we can have an extended hours of trading. So we can be open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It's very cliche, but let me say this. So this, in our perspective, should not be just a first strategy or something that needs to be done. or a way to keep the windows more open for a longer time, but it's really a new way, a new channel to communicate with the target audience in a really, let's say, omni-channel way. Something that, again, it's a very abused word, but I think it's very relevant for this kind of topic. So bottom line, I agree with you. I think that an hybrid format of online and offline trade show is something that we are going to see more and more often in the future. The point here for all the operators, both online and offline, is to understand where the value stands for the participants. So in this way, the opportunity is to create something ad hoc, something innovative, like this WeCosmoprof for Alibaba, or WeCosmoprof in general solution for all the players in the industry, try to give an increase in incremental value compared to the physical-only events. So, of course, we are very happy to collaborate with WeCosmoprof on this debut on their on our platform, and we are really also happy to welcome the almost 2,000 operators that are going to be present and trade on our platform in the next few days.
That's great. Wonderful. I think, out of curiosity, Luca, I also have a follow-up for you, because I've been covering fashion weeks lately, and the Paris Fashion Week is just coming to an end. And I've also seen a lot of, I think, new applications of digital, which is like a combination of physical and digital trade shows and fashion shows. So we've seen like just short movie featuring the collection presented in live streaming, and we've seen brands giving like like VR set to guests so they can like watch with their VR headsets at home. I wonder, with like as more and more brands, including fashion and cosmetics, looking at adopting digital technologies, what are some of the limitations here, and how might Alibaba help to solve these limitations?
Okay, well, let's stay on the trade part and the opportunity for businesses to trade on this platform. Consider that it's a B2B platform, so most of the trade stands in a B2B scenario with a B2B dynamic. So what Alibaba wants to do to support the business in running business everywhere is really not to become an alternative to the physical dynamics. We know that that's probably will never happen 100%, and the power of physical connection and the human being staying together is something that we will keep value also in the future. What we are trying to do is to issue all a set of features that will enable the companies to be effective, even if they are online, even if they are apart, even if they are sitting in two different continents, into different, let's say, time zones, and speaking to different languages. And a few examples let's say, are part of the key feature of our platform. We can speak about, for example, a simultaneous translator that supports up to 16 languages. So we have local entrepreneurs that don't speak even English in Italy that can make deals with potential buyers on the other side of the world without speaking the same languages. Or similarly, we are trying to, let's say, make sure that inside our platform, all the companies are able to express their own heritage, their own history, and not just the key feature of a product. And this is something that we can see usually also in the physical trade show, where companies attend and explain what is the overall history and the overall, let's say, distinctive factor of their offer. And the main concept behind, I think, is trust. So we really want to make sure that, even historically in our company, on other business unit and in another platform, but in general, what we want to make sure is that we can create that same mutual trust between parties, even if they are not connecting physically. And everything that we are building is related to these objectives.
Thank you. I'm super impressed by the 16 language support. I think language is definitely one of the most, one of the foremost barriers when global partners think about trading across different countries. So it's great that Alibaba has sorted that out. we currently have about just over 10 minutes left, so we're gonna come to some Q&As for our speakers. Patrick, we have a question for you from the audience. So you talked about how technology can help with the cosmetics field from the perspective of OEM, ODM. One of our audience members has a question about how could technology help the fragrance field.
I won't say the fragrance field and the cosmetic field is different, because we fragrance as well too. Depending on, are you looking like, trade fragrance as a raw material, or as to the end users, retailer? We're more expensive towards the end user, to the end users. I think Alibaba, if you use like products like like platforms like Alibaba, we need to really focus on really your facility. Your facility that you have, the capacity, the feasibility, different things you can do. But the challenges that we're experiencing in with cosmetics as well too is in OEM, ODM. We cannot focus too much on customization, because it's quite difficult to do that customization online. And I'm not saying like we should ignore those as well too, because it makes a huge difference being able to physically smell the product, try the product on your skin, or like spray the fragrance on your skin. But what is interesting with like platforms that we're figuring out nowadays with digitalization in the cosmetic fields or in the fragrance field is we need to lead the market as an OEM partner for other businesses, for other retailers, or other brand owners. We're supposed to be the person that understand what's happening in the market, and we pitch what's going on the coming year. So, for instance, if the fragrance if next year is more next year's trend is more in the breezy, woody side of like of perfume, we need to project that out in through digital and guide buyers to believe in our scent by doing market research, by doing comparisons with our major brands like L'Oreal are doing, and what can we do to help your business as well to catch up to this market to this trend and gain this market gain this market advantage. So I would suggest business to run in a more proactive point rather than traditional ODM ways of just saying we're just here for you to in customization, because I realize that that's the hard part for us during the past few years, at digitalization, because there's too many options there in the market.
The next question is for Luca. Luca, we have a question, I think, from a small company that is an OEM in Italy. And they wonder how can they use Alibaba to meet clients that are interested in private label.
Yes, thanks for the question, and buongiorno for the Italian OEM connected. So I think that's it's a great question, and it's also very very useful for us to answer, because I think among the wide offering of e-commerce that we have in the market, Alibaba.com is really the natural habitat for a similar companies, where we can actually explain within the platform to a community of buyers that most of the time are retailer or seller or even brands that want to look for something similar to what we are discussing now. In the platform, we are actually giving the chance for company to explain and to give to explain, let's say, the possibility to customize the products based on some minimum order quantity. So it's really I wouldn't say that it's built for that reason, but it's one of the feature, and it's very used a lot feature in our platform. So I think it's a very interesting way for even small company to get in touch with potential buyers that are looking for this kind of solution from all over the world.
Great. And Yan, I think you spoke about. I think you mentioned that the two applications that really touch you. That is a mix of digital tech and cosmetics. So one of our audience members is wondering if that application existed for makeup or just or also for skincare products.
It's only for makeup, but I think the skincare is a very enlightening idea. So maybe they can research the market and to put new functions to their apps.
I think usually it doesn't happen when you want to try it on. It usually happens before your purchase. I think with some companies that have been working with Shiseido, for example, and they are looking at some startups that can do DNA analysis and also genetics analysis with either beauty devices or with professional devices that can tell what your skin type is suited for. So I think that's another application for skincare, and that's very skincare specific because it doesn't come after you've chosen the product. It comes before you made your option and the choice. So we are coming to the end of the panel. Thanks everyone for participating, and thank you the speakers for sharing your insights and stories throughout the COVID pandemic. And it's a very difficult time for the industry, and I'm glad that we are here today so we can share some of the learnings and we can look forward to the digital future. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.